Hi, my name is John Andres, and I'm going to be presenting on Tim today. Tim was my case study student. Tim is an 8th grade student who's now currently 14. His diagnosis is OHI, being in the ADD-ADHD area. His initial diagnosis was in 2010, so that would have been his 3rd grade year. It's been quite a difficult struggle for his mother to deal with him and having the issues with this also at home. She was the one who initially wanted to get him tested rather than the people here at school, but he's shown that that diagnosis was kind of a good choice after all. His teacher of record currently right now is me, and he spends 3 hours a day with me in the room. I'm usually one of the special education teachers helping out in his general education classrooms, but he also spends time with me in the tier classroom. His educational background, he's always been here at MSD of Warren County at my school. He's now just entered a new building where he's come into the junior high school. He was spending the earlier years at the elementary school, which is located just north of us, about 20 minutes from away. His English language grades have always been way behind the rest of his scores, and that's why there's a little bit of concern from the family as well as the school district about where he is going to go from here. Testing information wise, his math scores, and I know this is going to be kind of difficult for you guys to see, but his math scores, these are his I-STEP scores from the previous year, right at or below the scores that he's expected to get, so just about 6 or 7 points off of number sense, computation, algebra and functions, geometry, all of the necessary components. He's real close to being right on the average for his grade level, which actually is very good. I'm pretty excited. He has not passed on any of those yet, but I imagine he will sometime in the near future if we continue the services we're giving him now. The real stuff that I'm worried about, however, is his English grades and his English data from the previous IMAST. He was using the IMAST, which was the modified assessment for students in the previous year, and you'll be able to see the data more clearly on my PowerPoint than you can see here in the project, but he's missing by solid 30%, 14%, in quite a few different categories. The 14% was non-fiction and informational text comprehension, and his writing process is also way behind, which we'll see in some of the assessments that I've taken later. Behavioral observations were a main issue for Mother as well as me. He's got 2 separate behaviors that he really does a lot. He'll either slouch down in his seat, or he will place his head on the desk and he scribbles his pencil on the paper and spends a lot of time kind of just not focusing on the task at hand. From the observations that I was able to see, he spends a lot more time off task in his English classroom rather than his math classroom, about 70% off task in his English classroom at the moment, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he does not feel comfortable in that English classroom. His inability to read, comprehend grade level material, I think has a lot to do with this because he is unable to spend a lot of that time focused, and so he's missing a lot of those grade level standards at the time. His strengths are his character, his math skills, and his fluency. He's a great kid, really cares and tries as best he can in a lot of the ways, or in a lot of his classrooms. He really wants to be a good kid and help out in the classroom. Always is the first one to volunteer to help me with anything that I may need. His fluency, as we'll see in a second, he's very articulate when he's reading, and he's able to really get out his ideas, or not his ideas, but those words quickly and efficiently. It's just his comprehension that is really low, which is one of his main weaknesses. His comprehension is incredibly low for his grade level. Reading at grade level is difficult for him, and comprehending, at grade level is very difficult for him. So we went to a couple of grade levels behind, as well as his time spent on task. He just can't continue to keep on task when he's in the classroom, and his writing ability is very, very poor. When it comes to grade level texts, this is the CBA results. His grade level text, he was correct words per minute 88.5, and 96% words read correctly, which is great. That's really wonderful to be able to read at grade level at a fairly quick pace, and being able to get most of them correct, however, it's those advanced academic vocabulary words that have been really a difficulty for him. He has a hard time getting over that, and then that poor comprehension. I gave him a few comprehension questions afterwards, and he always had a great big difficulty with that. Most of the time, or actually all three of the assessments that I gave him were based on pages of the books that he was reading in class at the moment, and his comprehension was way below what it should have been for his grade level. Written expression, this is where we see kind of that disparity between what he can read and what he is able to actually comprehend and do. His ability to write is very poor. Just 79-word essay in 5 minutes that I gave him, and a lot of egregious spelling mistakes. He would spell friends incorrectly, F-R-I-N-D-S. Writing was misspelled, as well as business. He wanted to just write about the same thing that he always writes about, and he always writes about this business that he's going to create with his friends, and he always kind of gets stuck on that same topic. So expanding those ideas, expanding topics are a very difficult thing for him. He's very rooted in one thing, and he's stuck there. For CBA results, math, this is where he's also really, really good. He only got a few mistakes. Let's see, 3 mistakes out of all the digits that he did. Very proficient. Don't need to spend much time on that. But the identification of needs, what he really needed, is something that can help him with his behaviors and something that can help him with his comprehension. His off-task behavior in the English classroom is really a huge detriment to him at the moment because he's unable to focus and get those standards from the general education teacher as well as from me. He can't spend enough time focused on the material to even grasp anything that's coming at his way. Only being able to hone in on that 30% of what's happening in the classroom is really a difficult thing for that student. Comprehension-wise, once again, since he's not getting those standards in the classroom, he's not able to read and then translate